This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 398 of the Dressage Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, Kentucky Performance Products, and Fairfield Inn and Suites. Today we have returning guests Devon, Kane, and Karen Iceberg, as well as a great trainer tip brought to you by Total Saddle Fit.
This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Loxahatchee, Florida.
And this is Philip Parks from Rockwood, Ontario, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show.
And
Reese, I was just thinking, when are you going to get to move into the fancy Wellington, Florida?
You know what? I am so excited, Phil. We, I got, some messages from home, and it's snowing and disgusting, and I am just fine with the Loxahatchee. I love it. So we have a new farm, and we have to welcome Jennifer too. Hi, Jen.
Yeah, sorry, Jen.
Hello, lovely to be here.
Happy New Year, everybody. This is our first show back. I like the last week I've been slightly in a time warp and haven't known what day it is. So it's nice to know and be back in routine. I think everyone's
we got to get to the routine, right?
Yeah, everybody's feeling that way today for sure. But yeah, we made the great trek south. I have to be honest, it was quite it was good because it was my husband Travis's first trip here, and we're unloading the trailer, and it was so hot and gross, and hay is so very expensive here, and that's really what makes it very expensive to come to Florida, along with paying extra for stalls and that kind of stuff. But it's very expensive when you have to come because of the hay. What we pay about $4.25 at home for it. You'd pay $18 here.
I hate you.
Yeah,
I hate you.
I know. A lot of people in the United States just said that to me. But we're in Kentucky. That's what we're known for, and it's really, really hard. So he's unloading the trailer. I'm like, you're saving like $1,400 by doing this, and he's like, I get it now. I see why you were doing this.
Yeah, you can do it.
See why we're doing this. Yeah. So
the computer guy. Slugging bales. I like it.
Slugging bales. He was slugging bales. He did a great job. He next time he's like, I am packing a long sleeve shirt. I was like, I should have told him. That wasn't very nice of me. But so it's been a very, very good move. We're here and we're settled, and we're in a new farm this year. And I'm really excited. Jenny and Steve are fantastic. Shout out to them for getting us here and all the troops in. And my house, my little cottage, is 30 steps from the barn, and it's really quite nice. So I have to be honest, Phil, I am love being in Wellington but we're about 15 minutes from Wellington, and they're out here in the White Fences community, and there are a lot of dressage people out here, and it's little.
Yeah, it's a nice community. You got lots of really nice neighbors that you can go visit.
Yeah.
And
So the Bills are right next door. Pam Goodrich is on the other side of me. Geraldine Finn is the farm down. Catherine Haddad is out here. So there's a lot that goes on out here, which is a lot of fun. So we really, really enjoy it. So
cool. So how's the horses?
Oh, the horses were great. Actually, today was the first day we worked the horses, and every single one of them were fantastic. I think they were just as happy to get back to work as we all were. They've moved and gotten here. They got the main group of horses got here on Tuesday, and then I had Mikey, my new horse, Follow Me, got out of quarantine last week, and today was the first day I got to ride him, and it was a lot of fun. So we'll post a picture. I've got a cute picture of me on him. And I'll post it on the show notes for everybody to see him.
Sounds good. Good. You gotta start the season with a lot of enthusiasm and energy, because by the end it's gone. So I feel the same way about the winter. So
exactly. It's such a fun thing to come, but that was also what was good for Travis to see. It is very hard to come here. It is wonderful, but I have horses at home that I had to close the barn. Not that anyone feels bad for me whatsoever.
No, I don't feel bad for you.
Not bad, but there is a significant.
There's a lot of work involved in moving the whole operation. Yeah,
exactly.
I would get that.
Yeah.
get that.
But once you're here, and it's so nice. I have my first lesson with Michael Klimka on Monday, and my choreographer, Marlene Whitaker, is coming on Saturday, so that we can
What are you
work
working on? What
Yes.
freestyle are you working on?
Hello is getting his intermediate one freestyle organized.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why you come here, and then hopefully the saddle fitter will come tomorrow and look at all the saddles. So that's why you come here, is because everyone's here and you can sort of get everything done. I was able to run to the tack store and grab some things and get halter plates changed and stuff. So it is really nice down here for that kind of stuff. But yeah, by March, I am very much ready to go home to my home in Kentucky, and I love my farm up there. And so I feel very blessed that we can all come, and that I have enough clients that are game to come, and it's really cool. So we get a lot done while we're here. So I will be, and telling everybody, and for certainly, it's great because I get really good guests. I maybe have to buy a few extra beers to get people on the show and in here. Yeah, Jen, we should talk about this for my salary, but I do get to network a lot and meet a lot of people, which hopefully you guys will enjoy throughout the year. So that's what we're doing down here.
Fantastic. Sounds awesome.
I know.
So what do we got coming up on the show?
Yeah, so we have a great show today. Devon Kane is going to come on. She's an international Grand Prix rider, and she and I work on a project down here called the Vince Ramos Therapeutic Riding Center. And we thought it would be really fun to tell everybody about Vince Ramos and what we're doing, but also just kind of start the year off with some talk of what some international riders do for philanthropic endeavors. So that should be a lot of fun. And then Karen Isberg is going to come on and talk to us about her Kentucky Performance products, but also she's such a great wealth of knowledge. So she's going to come on and give us some tips. So it should be a great show.
Awesome.
Right after this commercial break, we're going to come back with Devon Kane, and she's going to talk about some of the charity work she's doing this season down here in Wellington.
The Horse Radio Network is excited to announce a new partnership with the Fairfield Inn North by Marriott in Lexington, Kentucky for Road to the Horse and Rolex. The Fairfield Inn North is right off Newtown Pike and Route 64 near the Cracker Barrel and only 10 minutes from the horse park the back way, the low traffic way. The Fairfield Inn North has spacious rooms that are being completely renovated now and will be ready in time for Road to the Horse. Plus, the Fairfield Inn North offers complimentary breakfast, a free Wi-Fi throughout the hotel, a huge free parking lot, a business center, indoor swimming pool and jacuzzi, outdoor patio with grill, a laundry facility, and much more. The Cracker Barrel is located right next door, and there are 4 other dining options available for breakfast, lunch, and dinner right around the corner. Just for listeners of Horse Radio Network, we have negotiated some great rates for you for Road to the Horse and Rolex. For Road to the Horse, we have the rate down from $160 to $120. If you're going to Rolex, we have the rate down to $199 from $260. There's a very limited number of rooms available at these rates, so call in your reservations as soon as possible. Search for Fairfield Inn North in Lexington, Kentucky. It's the one on Hackney Place. You must call in your reservation and ask for the Road to the Horse or the Rolex Early Bird Special. So that's the Road to the Horse or Rolex Early Bird Special. Search for Fairfield Inn North by Marriott.
Well, tonight it is my pleasure to have Devon Kane on the program, international dressage superstar. Devon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.
Oh, I know. It's starting to get busy down. Yeah, it's starting to get busy down here. So we're super happy to have you. So how's your season going so far?
Pretty good so far. We did a couple of preseason shows and everybody's getting ready and starting this weekend. So first CDI is next weekend. So it's very exciting.
I know. I can't
already, I'd say.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, the first CDI is already happening. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I love it. So do you have any horses going next week or any big horses you can tell us about?
I have a couple horses going this weekend, and then next weekend we're taking off, and then our first CDL will be the third weekend in January. So my Grand Prix horse from Before Destiny, I'm bringing back out in the CDI tour. And then,
I love him.
I
love him.
Yeah. And I have a stallion that did his first Grand Prix like 2 weeks ago. So he's going to do a couple more in the national and then come out in the CDI also.
Oh, that's exciting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you are a busy mom and a busy trainer and a busy rider, but one of the things that I love about you is you take some time for some charity work, and you've been the chair for the Vince Ramos Young Professionals kind of committee for years. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of the time you take for the charity work you do?
Yeah, it's one of the few things that I really make sure to make time for, and it's one of those high priorities for me, just because I am so blessed and lucky with all of the things I have in my life and my abilities. So I really I always try to make time, and I love Vince Ramos especially because it works with therapy through horses with all different types of riders, but mostly children and a lot of people with developmental issues and everything. So for me, that kind of hits a home string because I am very able-bodied, and so is my son. And so to be able to give back to an organization like that that does so much good for people who aren't really, it makes it worthwhile for me.
I love it. I love it. So tell us, what is Vince Ramos and what do you do? Kind of what's going on?
Vince Ramos is a therapeutic riding center in Wellington, and they service 200 to 300 riders a week. And they do all kinds of different therapies, from hippotherapy to riding therapy, and a lot of them. They have different programs with a lot of the riders just interacting with the horses also. So it really helps leaps and bounds people being able to that have nerve damage or developmental issues that can't walk or speak or things like that. You can see huge progress through the program. And it's a completely not-for-profit organization. So most of the riders don't pay for any of the therapies that they receive there. So it's really important, the fundraising. And every year we have a huge benefit auction, silent and live auction dinner. But leading up to that, we have these buck-off competitions, which are mechanical bull riding competitions between teams, and anybody can sign up as a team. You just need 4 people. And we have 3 practice rounds, and then our finals are held the night of the actual auction and dinner. So it'll be, again, for anybody in Wellington or that knows somebody in Wellington, we have the buck-off competitions every Thursday leading up to the main event, February 3rd, which is our live auction and dinner. So next week is our first buck-off competition, and it's pretty exciting. It'll be
It's
at
so
White
fun,
Horse Tavern again. It's so much fun because you have all different people, all different ages. Some people come in costumes to ride as teams. Like we have kids that ride as teams and adults. And as the night goes on, it gets a little rowdier. It's a super fun time, even if you're not riding, just to come watch.
How did sorry, I was just wondering, how did the buck off, I like the concept. How did that come about?
It came about, I want to say about 7 years ago almost now.
Yeah, it's been going
and
for a
our
while.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it was one of our marketing manager, Bobby Rotman's idea first to start it and have it going. We used to always have a kind of a Western theme for the Vince Ramos auction dinner. So it fit in really easily there. And it was such a hit the first year we just had it at the auction that then in following years we branched it out to the qualifying round. So it's really exciting. It's super fun.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think it's such a great thing that you do and that you take time for charity. I think it's just such a great example for all of us. We're all so blessed, and it's a new year, and I think it's just such a great thing to really focus on doing something. And I'm glad that I can help down here in a little way with it as well. It's one of those things also to make time for. It's really cool. So, Devon, thank you so much for being an awesome example. We're going to be rooting you on the entire time we're down here, and we'll be in the stands for you. So thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for having me again.
If anybody wants more information about the buck off, where would they find that?
It's on Vince Ramos on I think it's vinceramos.com, or on their Facebook website. You can pull it up from there. And pretty much if you Google the buck off Vince Ramos in Wellington, it'll come up. But you can find it all over Facebook, and then we'll be sending press releases and everything else going out also.
Yeah, and we'll have it on my Facebook page, and we'll try and grab it on the Dressage Radio Show. So if anybody's there, they can come and visit us as well. It should be lots of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And come and ride.
Yes, please. More teams just makes it more fun. So we're always looking for more.
Love it. Well, Devon, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you. You too. Have a great night.
Well, everybody. I am so happy to have Karen Isberg from Kentucky Performance Products on the show. Karen, welcome.
Well, hi, Reese. How are you guys doing? Reese is in Florida where it's warm, and Philip is up north where it's very cold.
Well, you're smack in the middle.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the
I am.
middle.
I'm stuck in the middle, but it's cold here today. It's supposed to be 17 tonight, so that's
Which
a little
is cold
chilly.
for Kentucky. That's, we're seeing more of those temperatures, but, I don't know. I think we didn't used to see, I don't think that they were that cold when I was growing up, but maybe I wasn't paying attention or wasn't as
It probably
sensitive.
Probably didn't bother you as much then when you were young. You don't think about those things.
I think you're probably right. You just go. You just go. Well, happy 2017. My goodness, I can't believe it's already a new year.
I know, it went so fast.
It really did. 2016, I feel like I blinked and it was over. But I love it. Well, we were talking right before we got on the show about getting horses to drink in the winter. And we haven't talked about this with you on the show. But interestingly enough, you said this is one of the major topics you talk to people about. Can you kind of start us off?
Well, yeah. I mean, I talk to a lot of people on the phone. They'll call up and they're having issues or they're concerned about their horses. And we start talking about water. And, just a lot of people don't realize that horses need to drink 10 to 12 gallons of water a day. And so, your typical water bucket is a 5-gallon water bucket. So you want them to drink 2 to 2.5 full buckets a day. And when it's really cold out, you'll start to see horses really backing off on what they drink. The other thing a lot of people don't realize, especially if they have horses that are grazing a lot, is that grass has a lot of moisture and a lot of water in it. So when the grass goes away and you start feeding hay, you've really reduced your horse's water intake. So you want to see them drinking even more water at that point. And if you don't, you run a real risk of impaction colic, which you'll see that the rate of impaction colics go up in the winter.
That makes total sense. And Karen, What about as well? I mean, I've had a lot of trouble with water intake when the weather shifts. Like Kentucky, we're kind of famous for that. Like we're famous from going literally, I think this week, when the horses left, it was 62 degrees, I think, on Monday, and it's going to be 17 on Friday. That's an incredible weather shift.
It is. And so the beginning of the week, they'll be drinking, and at the end of the week, they won't be. So you have to, and that's just really not good for their system to have that kind of discrepancy in water intake.
So what are some things you can do to solve that problem?
Well, there's kind of 3 main tips that I give people when I talk to them. One thing that you can do, and most people kind of like to do this anyway in the winter, is you can add water to their regular meal. So if you're feeding a grain meal 4 or 5 pounds, morning and afternoon, or morning and evening, you can bring some warm water out and a couple of carrots and a couple of apples, and you can mix that in their regular grain meal and then give that to them kind of, like a nice mash. You don't need to add bran or anything different that you would have, but you can do that, and that will just get some more moisture, get them to take in some more water fluid that way. And they like it, makes you feel good, makes the horse feel good to get that. Some people will add beet pulp at this time of year and soak the beet pulp. And beet pulp, of course, is really good for the hind gut. It's a great way to add some extra calories in. Since it's a super fiber, it does, again, help with the hind gut. So you're kind of, that's a 2-prong approach to keeping that impaction colic away, because you're giving them a really nice source of fiber, and then you're also adding some liquid to it. So that's one of the first things I recommend.
What about bran mash? That was for sure an old school way to go.
That was an old school way to go. Bran mashes were always thought to have a laxative effect, and in fact, they do have a laxative effect, but it's not because the bran softens everything up. It's because giving a horse a large bolus of feed that they're not used to getting disrupts the bacterial balance in their hind gut and gives them diarrhea. So it's not a good thing to do.
That's probably a worse effect. It dehydrates the horse even more and upsets their stomach.
Exactly. It's like in the old days, they used to treat everything by giving people purgatives, and it just dehydrated people and made them worse. So what you want to do is you want to feed if you want to do something like that, it's better to add rice bran or beet pulp, which has a more balanced calcium and phosphorus picture, and just add some water to that, but do it every day. Do it every day instead of once in a while. You don't ever want to do anything once in a while to the horse's gut, because that bacterial population back there is very sensitive to change. And if you put something back there that's different, it causes a lot of the bacteria to die off, and then you run into problems.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, isn't that funny? You know,
Great,
bran mash has been, I mean, oh my goodness, it's been around forever, and that's
for a long time.
Yeah, that's very interesting. See, I always love it when you come on because you teach us so much. I love it.
Yeah, so so that's not recommended anymore. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
What's the next step?
The other one is to try to keep your drinking water, your horse's water, from getting too cold, and certainly to stop it from freezing. So there's been quite a bit of research done on the ideal temperature of drinking water for horses, and it falls between 45 degrees Fahrenheit and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh. So that's, a little below, it's below room temperature, but it's not freezing. They did a really neat study with some research ponies where they gave them different temperatures of water, and they also offered them hot water. It was 90 degrees. So, you could that would be warm to your touch of your hand. And the ponies that were given the 90-degree water drank 40% more water than when they were offered cold water. Yeah. So if it's real cold and you're concerned, get some warm water and take it outside and fill your horse's water buckets up with it. They really seem to like it. Mm-hmm.
We had a mare that was like that. Yeah, she loved the warm water. She really she would come right for it. She loved it. She was so sweet and she loved it. She would wait for you for the warm water, and you could literally bring a bucket and she'd guzzle the whole thing.
Drink the whole thing down. And especially if you have, your older senior horses, just like older people, sometimes they'll have more sensitivity in their teeth as they get older. So for an older horse, he might go off his water and you don't know why. And it might be that it's just too cold for his teeth, that it hurts his teeth. So that's another good reason to feed a senior horse, to offer a senior horse warm water. And you could do that once or twice a day, depending on how your barn is set up. But at least once a day, go out with a big full bucket, 5-gallon bucket of warm water and entice your horse to drink. But definitely you want to keep it but well above freezing. At least 15, 20 degrees above freezing would be best if you can.
And what about electrolyte? Because we talked about the summer needs for electrolyte. Can we induce the horse to drink more by adding that supplementing that in the feed?
Absolutely. And the third tip that I usually give is to make sure your horse is consuming an adequate amount of salt. Now, if you have a horse that isn't working hard, say you give your horses the winter off, then you don't really need to feed them an electrolyte. The best thing to do is to make sure that they have free choice salt in front of them, just plain white salt at all times. And when it gets real cold, you can add 1 or 2 level teaspoons of salt to their feed. So I would add like 1 in the morning and 1 at night. And that will help them to become thirsty and help them drink some more. Now, if you have horses that continue to work through the winter, even when it's cold out, they'll actually do a lot of sweating, but that sweat will evaporate much quicker and you just won't notice it as much. But they're still losing electrolytes. So for working horses, definitely, 1 to 2 ounces of electrolytes, depending on how hard they're working. Now, I keep my guys on a half a scoop of Summer Games a day. So I'll do, for a full scoop of Summer Games a day, I'll do half a scoop in the morning and half a scoop at night. And that's to meet their electrolyte needs and to also keep them drinking.
That makes sense. Yeah, because I've actually had the most trouble with colic and not drinking in the winter. Because, and again, we have those shifts that man, they quit drinking pretty quick, and that is a big problem. Yeah. And what about, there's a lot of now hay products on the market where you can actually do sort of a wet forage. How do you feel about those products?
Well, absolutely. I think, and another part of providing wet feeds is to go ahead and soak your hay. And And I think that would work really well up where you are, Philip, because your barns are warm. So it wouldn't freeze. So you could certainly, if you're in a situation where you can stop the hay from turning into haysicles, then it would be a good thing to do, to go ahead and soak your hay. And that just, again, it just adds more water to the diet, and just another way of getting it into them. So you could certainly do that. Or if you feed hay cubes, you could soak your hay cubes before you feed them. So that's definitely an option that you can use, as long as it doesn't freeze.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, Karen, as always, you just have such awesome information. Thank you so much for coming on the program. How would our listeners find you online?
Well, they can go to kppusa.com. We have a whole library full of articles there. You can send us an email at info@kppusa.com, or you can go to our Facebook page, which I keep track of kind of 24/7. I'm kind of a Facebook junkie. And you can either send a private message there, or you can just go ahead and put a message up on the page. So, or you can call us at 859-873-2974, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Karen, so much. And everybody, Karen is this nice. Not on the air. She answers questions for us all the time, and she's such a great resource. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Karen.
Well, thank you. It was good to talk to you guys. Philip, stay warm. And
all right, I'll try. Thank you.
I'll see you in Florida, girl.
I will. I'm coming.
I love it. Talk to you soon.
This week's dressage training tip is brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, home of the shoulder relief girth at TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, tonight for our Total Saddle Fit tip of the week, we had international rider Devon Kane. She stayed on the show to talk to us a little bit about her day job and what she does. So, Devon, what is your trainer tip of the week for us?
So I was thinking, one of my biggest pet peeves is when the horses lean or kind of motorcycle through the corners. So something to help prevent that, I was thinking, depending really on the training of the horse and where you are in the stage of the ride, the rider needs to decide before the corner whether they're going to ride a shallow or a deep corner. And then approaching the corner, then the most important thing in that decision is to keep in mind if the horse is going to be able to keep its rhythm, its balance, and the bending, so that the horse comes out of the corner prepared for the next long side. So I think the most important thing to remember in corners is that every corner has bending from the inside leg to the outside rein and through the inside rein. So you want to bend with the inside rein, put the inside leg on so the horse stands up and doesn't lean, and keep the outside rein contact.
I love it. So what are some things that you do to kind of get there? You know, what are some exercises that you work on in the corners?
I think for a little more of a shallow corner, doing voltes or even 10-meter circles into the corner and out of the corner is always really helpful, because it helps you feel the bending through the corner and makes the horse stand up again. And then as the horse gets a little more advanced, you can ride the corner a little bit more of a box shape and actually make like a square and help yourself kind of turn a little bit of a sharper corner that way.
It's pretty good. I'm going to add to this, Devon, because you made me think of an exercise I had to ride a long time ago to learn how to do a corner. Is to you can start this exercise in the walk. You can walk the horse, and when you're halfway through the corner, so you're sort of away from the wall and the horse isn't on the new wall, you want to halt the horse. So and then use your inside leg to push the horse's haunches out so that you're on the new wall. It's sort of like, a quarter turn on the forehand sort of thing. And this really helped me because my horses, at this point when I was riding, were not used to having to listen to the inside leg. And I found the problem was that I would apply my inside leg and then the horses would just go faster. And I would never be able to achieve the idea of moving from the inside leg to the outside rein in the corner, because by the time I got myself organized, it was already down the corner, So I just thought, just halting the horse and asking him to move from my inside leg just really got it through in the training of the horse that, something is supposed to happen in those 2 or 3 strides. And You can do it from a 20-meter circle. If you're riding a really shallow corner, you can do it that, or you can do it, when you're doing a small circle, like the 8-meter corner. You can do it. It's about timing. It's about making sure the inside leg works when it's supposed to, and the horse doesn't just get the signal to just go fast to the corner, because it just makes the problem worse. So that's my 2 cents to add to your great corner thoughts.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I've got one more. Because I think this is trainers, we sit around and talk about this stuff too, on how we can get the horses to go through the corner better. And one of the things that I like to think about is 5 steps in the corner. So the first 2 steps are preparation for the turn. The middle step, the third step, is the turn. And then you have 2 steps to ride out of the corner. So 5-step corner. So I think that it kind of similar to everything else that you guys are saying, like pushing to the outside rein and making the horse stand up and not lean through the corner. But we think of it, I like to think, okay, guys, 5 steps as you go through. So, I think a lot of riders forget to prepare or just kind of cruise through in the motorcycle turn. And this sometimes will help them and myself think, okay, let me really, really push them to the outside rein and really make them stand up in the corner, and then really prepare on the way out. So that would be what I would add to that discussion.
That's a good idea. Yeah, because you want to be able to count the steps so you know exactly what you're doing with each step, right?
Right. Exactly.
And the out of leaving the corner is just as important.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually really
through it,
important.
absolutely.
Yeah. No, I think that's such a smart thing to say, because, we all think about going into the corner, maybe around the corner, but the corner is setting you up for what you're doing, what if it's a shoulder in, or if it's a diagonal, or if it's, whatever you're doing. So you need to come out and think, okay, what am I doing next? And those 2 steps are sort of your way to say, okay, now I'm really going to come out and be prepared for the next stage. So, so I think that's always a good way to think about, is the 5 steps. So that's my 2 cents to add, but I love it.
Yeah, we all have good ideas about the corners. I think because we ride so many freaking corners
all day long.
Yeah.
And I love it. And, and like you were saying, Devon, it depends on how deep you're going into the corner and sort of your level of the horse. But, if you start with a baby horse, which I was thinking about riding my new baby horse today as we were like careening around the corner. I thought, I should probably work on this tomorrow. So I think it's really funny that you said this is your pet peeve. And I had literally had this thought in my head walking back to my house today, like, tomorrow with my baby horse, we're going to talk about some corners and not careening around.
Have a little discussion with him about it. Yeah.
A gentle discussion. So I think we're going to be doing all of these exercises. Well, Devon, thank you so much for staying on the show with us tonight for our Total Saddle Fit tip of the week. If anybody are interested and want some more information, how can they find you online?
I'm on Facebook at Devon Kane. There's also diamantefarms.com, my farm name. Diamante Farms is also on Facebook, and Devon Kane Dressage on Instagram.
This tip was brought to you by Total Saddle Fit, the shoulder relief girth that Reese and Philip both love. And here's why.
The saddle fit solution you have been waiting for is finally here. TotalSaddleFit.com is proud to introduce the Shoulder Relief Girth. This strategically shaped girth actually moves the girth line of your saddle back over 1 inch, thereby freeing your horse's shoulders from the saddle. Traditional girths pull saddles up against a horse's shoulders and often over the top of the shoulders. The shoulder relief girth's recessed ends allow for the billets to buckle into the girth farther back to give your horse unparalleled freedom of motion. We are so certain that your saddle will fit better and your horse will be more comfortable that for a limited time we are offering a 30-day, 110% money-back guarantee. If you are not totally satisfied with your shoulder relief girth, send it back for a full refund plus 10% of the purchase price. Don't wait. Order now for the best saddle fit solution available.
At TotalSaddleFit.com. Visit TotalSaddleFit.com.
Well, Phil, this was such a great show, and I'm just happy we're back for 2017. And we, as always, look forward to email and Facebook shout-outs. We'll get you on the show if you send us stuff. We always love that. But, Phil, I didn't ask you, what is your New Year's resolution?
Oh wait, I had one the other day and then I totally forgot it. Maybe it's to remember things better, or to write down things that I should remember. That's a good one.
No, that's a good one for you. That's
Yeah.
good. I like that one.
I never write anything down, and I really should, because just like my resolution, I forget it.
Yeah, right. I hear you. I understand. Jen, how about you? Do you have a New Year's resolution?
My New Year's resolution is to wash the dishes more often.
I like it. I feel like they have to be something that you can actually do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, something achievable.
Something achievable.
Yeah.
And
Something
practical.
achievable, practical.
Practical.
I continue to have the same one every year until I can actually do it, and you guys will laugh at what it is. Phil, you may know what it is, but it's to be on time. I'm still working on it.
Still working on it. That's a lifelong goal.
It's a lifelong goal, and so maybe I just said that's maybe not super achievable, but I feel like I can't make a new one until I can make this one happen. So I do work on that every day, is to be on time. Today, for an appointment, I was actually 6 minutes early, so I was very proud of myself.
See,
Yeah,
if
you
you
gotta be here.
see, Reese, you have chosen to be fun-loving and enjoyable and pleasant instead.
Yeah.
So there you go. A much more valuable skill.
Yes, maybe. But I'm still trying to be on time. So if anybody knows me, they know that's a struggle sometimes.
Good.
I think that's a struggle for anyone with horses and a barn and children and dogs and cats. And yeah, it's a struggle. So the struggle's real, and I'm trying to work on it. But it's going to be a great 2017. I'm really looking forward to it.
What we do need before we go is some ideas from our listeners.
Yes.
And I have a feeling like we had a couple of emails and then we just didn't get to them on time or something. So, I mean, even if you sent them something before, send us something new or an old idea.
We love it.
Yeah, because I don't keep them in my email box or whatever, and then sometimes, we don't get to it right away, and then it gets forgotten about. So we need some new ideas. 2017. Let's look for some
what you guys
stuff from our
want to
listeners.
hear, or we are always happy to do it, or find guests, or that kind of thing. So please send us emails and Facebook shout outs. We love them for 2017, even if it's what are you working on with your horse for 2017. That would be super fun to hear. Well, as always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our website, dressageradio.com. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
The best way to find or get in touch with me is on Facebook, and my email is philip@horseradionetwork.com. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week for allowing us to put on a good show. And don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Everybody, keep your heels down and your shoulders back, and we can't wait to talk to you next week.